While it's getting colder in the northern hemisphere, things are starting to warm up in its southern counterpart. So I decided to try making a pavlova for all our friends in Australia and New Zealand. It all starts by beating egg whites and cream of tartar together in a clean and dry bowl. Every recipe I found said to use room temperature eggs because it helps the eggs to whip up better, so I made sure to follow that advice. And you'll really want to use an electric or stand mixer for this unless you want a good arm workout. So once the eggs are foamy and soft peaks form when you pull out the beaters, it's time to add the caster sugar, which is finer than granulated sugar but not as fine as powdered sugar. Add a couple spoonfuls at a time and beat in between until it's all incorporated and stiff peaks form. And let me tell you, I was obsessed with the texture of this. It became so silky smooth and glossy, and it looked good enough to eat right then and there. But instead, I followed the recipe and added 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, then beat again until combined. And the final 2 ingredients, 1 teaspoon of vinegar and half a tablespoon of cornstarch, will help to stabilize the meringue and need to be folded in gently. Also, I forgot to do it here, but most recipes recommend sifting the cornstarch in. Once incorporated, transfer the meringue to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. You can use small dabs of meringue to stick the paper down, then form it into a rough circle. If you want to be more precise, you can trace a circle on the paper as a guide, but I decided to go rogue with this one. Pavlova needs to bake at the low temperature of 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour to achieve the correct texture. Then after it's finished baking, turn off the oven and crack the door open for at least 1 hour to allow it to cool down slowly. And here is one of the saddest things that has ever happened to me while cooking for Dished. I'll be honest, I was pretty disheartened, but after texting some friends in a panic, they reminded me that whipped cream and toppings can cover all pavlova blemishes. So I made some macerated strawberries by combining sliced fresh strawberries with sugar, lemon juice, and lemon zest. While the strawberries marinated, I also made some whipped cream. For this, you'll need heavy whipping cream with at least 35% butterfat, as well as sugar and vanilla extract if you like. Whip the cream with an electric mixer until firm peaks, and that's it. When I transferred my pavlova to a plate, even more cracks formed, but luckily I had my trusty whipped cream to cover it, then topped with my juicy macerated strawberries. And I mean, it's not perfect, but it still looks pretty darn appetizing if you ask me. It was a bit messy, but definitely a delicious mess. Try it at home and let me know how it goes, and while you're here, click on one of these other great videos.